Hey, happy Friday, everybody. TJ, I did say G, yes. IF, Friday night edition of Wrestling with the Topics. It did not dawn on me until really earlier today that there is a AEW. You see, you shouldn't have to do all that. You shouldn't have to do all that. You should not have to do all that.
You
If
done
you
said
gotta,
that three times.
well, I'm gonna keep on saying it. You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have. I'm just saying. So anyway, Friday, October 11, 2024. Lee and Tammy Sanders with you guys for an all new edition of Wrestling with the Topics. It did not dawn on me until earlier today that AEW is going to be doing a pay per view on Saturday. And I actually plan on being out on the road during that time. So I don't know yet if I'm going to do a post show covering Fallout on that. But I was in the middle of a nice vacation. I did blast you guys on social media, giving y'all a heads up, letting y'all know that your man was going to be resting and that programming at the earliest would not resume until Sunday. But then I got hit up by some new advertisers. One of them I have not had the pleasure of working with for a couple of years now. And me and her used to tag team all the time. And I'm very happy to be hooking back up with her again because the services that she offers as a counselor, a grief counselor, is phenomenal and everything. So happy to be hooking up with them. So it's kind of one of those, well, we're back on the saddle again. Why not go on ahead and do a show? So I'm very curious to see as far as live viewership goes, how the turnout is going to be for the duration of this. But as always, when we do these shows, it's more popular for on demand and downloads. We hope that y'all been good since last we were on the air with you all. I definitely want to give a particular special shout out to those that have been affected by the recent hurricanes that's crippled us within the last 2+ weeks. First, we had that Helene, whatever the hell she wants to call herself, and then we get hit up with this. Look, it's just a hurricane. That's all I need to know. Then we get hit up with this new one. You had many people, Florida, you name those areas that were impacted by the first hurricane. You had a lot of people that were in the process of rebuilding. And then they're basically told, hey, if you value all things that you cherish and hold dearly, particularly your life, you want to go ahead and and put all that stuff down that you got there. Do whatever you got to do and haul ass because there's another one that's coming. And so bad that you heard the mayor and a few other people say, hey, if you're going to be staying, all we ask is that you're right on your arm, contact information so that we can notify the next of kin. And you're just like, God damn, is that morbid as fuck? But they were not exaggerating. They were, you know, really giving it to people right between the eyes, giving them that spoonful of the truth. And at the end of the day, that's what a lot of people honestly want. They want for it to be given to them right between the eyes, as far as, look, don't sugarcoat it. How's it really going to be? Right? Give it to me. Be honest with me. And so some people may not appreciate that honesty. Some may wish that it could have been a little bit more finessed, but no, I'm fine with it being, give it to me. Oh, sorry about that. Give it to me right between the eyes. Just doing an audio check, making sure everything is good on multiple platforms. And yeah, everything is good with the stream here. But, definitely my thoughts and prayers go out to everybody that's being affected by this storm. I know when we were on the air last week, we were talking about some of what was going on with the last storm. And I think one of our longtime listeners was from North Carolina was telling us what was going on in that respected area. So I can only imagine how it is this go round with the storm.
Well, it hit certain areas differently. Helene hit some parts of Florida. Obviously, the Carolinas really hard, Georgia, and some lower parts of Virginia. So, and with Milton kind of went across central Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So, different parts of
Let me move the mic for you. Go ahead, keep talking.
different parts in different areas. So, now, nonetheless, it doesn't make the devastation any better, but at least when Milton did hit, it was downgraded to a category 3. It was supposed to hit as a category 5. So when they were basically saying, if you value your life, get out, that's when they were anticipating of category 5, but thankfully it hit as a 3. So, but still 10 lives lost at this point. Millions and millions of dollars, actually not, excuse me, correction, billions, and with a B, billions of dollars in property damage. A more closer estimation is somewhere between 30 and 50 billion in property damage. So, prayers, thoughts. I know there's some, big name celebrities that are donating, their not their efforts, but their money. And just to try to help out. I know Dolly Parton donated almost 2 million between her and her charities for the relief in Tennessee as it did hit her hometown.
Mm.
And that's Helene,
Mm.
the first hurricane.
Mm. Crazy, man, crazy. So we'll definitely try to lighten the mood up for those of you that may have friends or family affected by some of those parts. Definitely a lot of good laughs here on this one. Again, this is a impromptu show. Normally, when it comes to these, um, this is honestly, I think, as long as we've been doing shows, we've never done one on a Friday because we usually
We
consider
have very sporadically, but we have.
yeah, but there's a reason why we push against doing a live Friday night show, and that's because it's like no matter what time you pick to go live, it's usually the dead zone because
True.
people are out and about and they're getting ready to enjoy their weekend and and all that other stuff. But trust me, if there was a way I could have done this particular show on the weekend, I definitely would have. But what's the okay, go ahead. Something's going on with one of the girls, it looks like, because I'm not really sure. Oh God fucking A, are you serious? This better not be damaged. Oh man. Hang on, guys. Yeah, this is important. This is important. I don't even know how the hell. How the hell?
Know where the other one is.
I know exactly where the other one is. So now the question is, how did she get this one? Is my question. It doesn't look damaged. Okay, so the reason why you just heard me curse just now is because my oldest furry daughter, Precious, was somehow playing with one of my retainers. And I don't know how she got to it because this is where they were. They were in this little corner right here. So unless it at some point dropped to the floor, your guess is as good as mine, but it looks like we got to it just in time. I don't see any damage. Talk for a little bit. Let me put this in my mouth and try it out real quick.
So, um, but actually, back to, more of a wrestling feel, but kind of bridging the gap between the hurricanes and the damage with that. Flair also.
Oh no. We're not gonna do that yet. Let's not do that yet. Let's not do that yet. No, because the way you don't see the way I wanted to go about it, I wanted to talk about Joker 2, but if you want to get
That's
my
fine.
thoughts about if you want to get my thoughts about Ric Flair, I mean, I guess we could do Ric Flair
No,
first.
you're
No, no, it's a nice transition. We just got to make sure that you're setting it up properly for the listeners because you just jumped without giving full.
well. So um
So
in
we're
my
trying
thought
a new format.
process,
Hang on. So we're trying a new format because I like what I see sometimes when I see guys like Conrad Thompson and when I see guys like who's another one that I'm thinking about when I see Conrad and Bischoff or when I see okay Brian Lass and Jim Cornette. I like sometimes when you basically got okay, I'm going to throw you the ball. Here's the news in case the listeners don't know, so we're all being informed in real time about what's going on. And then the host will usually offer comments and all that. So I'm trying
right?
a
And
little
I'm
let me
getting
finish.
corrections.
Let me can I yeah,
Yes,
okay, can I get it out? So cause I know we have longtime listeners, it's like, wait a minute, they're doing something new here. So I want to make sure that they know what's going on,
mm-hmm.
right? I'm eyeballing guys like Edward, right? Because they pretty much are gonna be able to tell us, no, no, keep it, or no, go with what you guys normally do. All right. So we're trying something new just with this episode, just to see what people think, right? Just nice throwing curveballs. So I thought it'd be a good idea if sometimes rather, and I know some of you guys notice this, which is why I'm doing this. Sometimes when we get into certain topics, Tammy is at a disadvantage because she doesn't know what the fuck is going on. Like she has no clue where the show is going. So I kind of figured, okay, well, let her in behind the scenes and give her an idea about some of the stuff that like I usually will try to gather to talk about and all that so that she kind of has okay, I'm anticipating, I know exactly what's going on here. Okay, yeah, I can kind of comment on this one. Okay, sure. So it's kind of one of those she's now going to sometimes set up the question or the topic and then I run off of it. She'll jump in, she'll comment on it. We kind of go back and forth and we kind of operate that way. Now she's at a disadvantage right now because although she pretty much knows what the show's going to be, she didn't see at the very last minute and I'll take full responsibility for that. I just typed in bullet points for my end, Joker 2, PayPal experience, fuck this technology. And, I did not relate to her. That is actually how we're going to be opening up things and all that. So that's why I jumped in and was like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. But since we just talked about the hurricane and all that, why not transition into what you were getting ready to say about Ric Flair? So I'm shutting up now.
Woo! All right. So, guys, in reference to um the segue that we had flowing earlier, which was Flair, was mentioned in a somewhat negative light in reference to a tweet that was sent. So, where I'm going to go ahead and read you this tweet.
I briefly only so again we're peeking behind we're peeling the curtain back. I don't know half of what Tammy's getting ready to say to me. I know kind of a little bit, but I'm in the dark right now and we keep losing viewers. So that tells me this segment's probably not going to work.
All right, so let's go back to the way we normally do it, and then we'll prepare better next time.
No, we are prepared. It's just we gotta because the we're learning this in radio class. We're just shooting the shit here. We're gonna stick to what we normally do. We learn this in radio, we learn this in TV production. You only got a certain amount of time to hook your viewers slash listeners. If you're not getting into your main point, it's like, okay, these guys are just bullshitting around. I'm just gonna go elsewhere. So in regards to the hurricane from earlier, I'm not sure if you guys had heard about this, but there's some backlash that's been going down to a comment on social media that was put out there by Ric Flair. Basically, Ric Flair decided that he was going to send some energy drinks to those that's volunteering to help, take care of all the devastation that's going on with these hurricanes. But at the same time, Flair is recognizing what's going on with the volunteers, particularly his grandson. So he talks about how he wants to send his energy drinks to, not just the volunteers and people, but he also wants to send his drinks to people that have lost some type of property, you name it. So his initial post, it pretty much went as follows, which is, I am so sorry for being in Las Vegas, reaping the benefits of being the personality I am. I am so sorry for everything, all the suffering and all the hardships people are going through in the Tampa area where I live. I can't give you $100,000, but I will donate $1,000 to whatever charity you would like, and I will supply Tampa with all the Woo energy drinks that are needed to keep everyone's energy up. So much respect for my grandson Carter and all the volunteers that are working so hard to help in the recovery efforts. Woo energy on me. Just tell me when and where to send it. So let's pause on that note. Okay. So you hear this. Yeah. This is actually one of those rare times where I actually believe in Ric Flair and that he did not mean any harm and what he was trying to do. We all that have followed the career of Ric Flair, and unfortunately, whether we want to admit it or not, for the life of us, we know a lot more about his personal life than we care to know, honestly. So we know, I bring that up because we know that he has had many battles of financial hardship. So to hear him say, I can't give you $100,000, but I will donate $1,000 to whatever charity you would like. I do believe in his heart of hearts. This is a rare instance where Ric Flair was not trying to be a dick. I do believe this was a rare instance where Ric Flair was trying to pay it forward and everything. But the way that he went about it, hindsight being 2020, probably not the best steps to take. And in times like these, I'm reminded of Mick Foley. Mick Foley is an individual, and you know what? Not for nothing, but I'm going to give him his props as well. Chris Jericho. I may not be as much of a fan of him as I was in previous years, and that is because he has let his voice be known more and more politically where his stance resides and all that. And it's one thing if, okay, you're going in this direction. Okay, I get that. It's another when, oh, yeah, you are just drinking that Kool-Aid big time, and the type of platforms that he has. It's a whole different subject. But Mick Foley and Chris Jericho are two prime examples of celebrities that they'll donate to something, be it a GoFundMe, a Kickstarter, Salvation Army, you name it. You don't know shit about it until either way after the fact, weeks after the fact, couple of months after the fact. I can't tell you the countless stories I've heard of Mick Foley through the years where he has donated his time, his money. And it's like, wait, he did that? Like, you don't need to broadcast. You don't need for a newspaper to cover the fact that you did XYZ. Sometimes it's just a matter of, okay, this need to be done. Okay, all right, boom, I'm there. So why I have issue with this, I believe Ric Flair's heart was in a good place. But where I will push back on this is he did not need to do the at joints when because when you're doing social media and you're adding somebody, you don't need to at, you don't even need to mention the energy drinks. You don't even need to do that. I think he would have been just fine had he took everything out in regards to the energy drinks, and woo energy on me, he would have been just fine saying, okay, you know what? Yeah, I can't give you $100,000, but I can definitely donate 1,000 to whatever charity you would like. Just let me know. And here's something else that he could have done, not for nothing, but rather than it be energy drinks, hey, I happen to know very well the name of the distribution company that makes Woo Energy. I can make sure that instead of my energy drinks, that all of those cans are filled with water,
Mhm.
and make sure that we get that to volunteers and victims impacted by this hurricane. Just let me know when and where. If anybody can, point me in the right direction. So, or he could have just quietly not done any of that and could have just picked up the phone because he does have a PR. He does have a PR rep. He could have called a PR rep and been like, yo, XYZ, let's get the ball rolling. We know a thing or two about public relations because for our respected businesses, we do a lot of that, especially when it came to interviewing guests and all that over the years. But that's just where my thought process is on Ric Flair and this whole social media thing. That's why I always say to people before you hit send on social media, pause, read it, and I have a golden rule when it comes to before you hit that send button. If you're reading it and you have even the slightest hesitation that's for 1 second, then you probably shouldn't hit send. You probably need to clean that up a little bit more or don't post it at all. That's my golden rule.
For me, in reference to what he posted, I do believe his heart was in the right place um, for the majority of it. I don't necessarily think that the way he said it, um, I don't necessarily think he had malice there or flaunt, or he was trying to flaunt his celebrity status. So should somebody else have written that for him? Maybe, very possibly. Especially when it comes to something so sensitive. Um, as far as a topic, because generally these type of topics, when there's so much suffering and so much uncertainty for so many people, and really all they're really looking for is for their life to get back to normal and as soon as humanly possible.
Mm.
So basically, I agree with Lee to most of the points, and in reference to, appreciate the gesture, but it does look like you're trying to make a sales pitch. But you'd have to really know Ric Flair and the character he is to know that it actually was probably coming from a place of him being very genuine versus let me flaunt my product.
And see, I agree. And then he follows up. So he deletes that tweet. He deletes that tweet and then he follows up with this comment. And this just seems like really a dig at this point. I'm so sick of all the haters when I'm just trying to help out and not make a dime for it. Forget the energy drink. Let's play a game of if you can match my donation of $1,000. And please try to show up with your real names. Please. If I can't Google you, how can I talk to you? That should actually be a question mark, Lee. Ric Flair. That should be a question mark at the end of that, but okay. At least leave your phone number. So now we're trying to come. This is the way it's coming off to me. Hey, I can afford to do a donation of $1,000. Can any of you people that's picking on me, well, I can do $1,000 donation. Can any of you? And if you can, let me know because I wanna talk to you. Wait a minute, why? First of all, why do you want to talk to them? If your heart is in, this is where it's very conflicting. If your heart is in the right place
Mm.
and you're trying to do good, then why does it even matter to the people? See, what he's upset about is the fact that he got his ass handed to him
Correct.
and he essentially got called out on his
Mhm.
bullshit.
Right.
Okay. So this lets me know how I was feeling. how I was feeling at first. Two things can be said that's true. I do feel that his heart was in the right place, but I also feel at the same time he's going, man, my energy drinks, man, it's just not selling. It's not really doing that good. What can I do that can build some really good publicity? Like what can I do here? And yeah, sure. Hey, tell me the place where I can send my woo drinks. Yeah, okay, yeah. You're trying to catch clout. That's how I look at that. You're trying to catch clout because and people feel me on this. Even if you're a hardcore Ric Flair fan, don't say that 10 times fast. Ric Flair fan. Woo! Okay. Feel me on this. How many times have we seen some type of a natural disaster? Think about, for those of you that drink, think about your favorite alcoholic beverage. Think about the distribution companies that produce that alcoholic beverages and how many times those distribution plants have sent out water to
Mhm.
wherever it was needed.
Right.
Ric Flair could have easily picked up the phone. Yo, who's in charge of our distribution joint? Hey, let's get some water to those guys. Like, seriously, like, I'll figure
Mhm.
out a way to pick up the tab. But like, we need to do this, right? No,
Mhm.
this guy, I think his heart was in the right place, but I think at the same time, he was
Mhm.
also chasing clout and he
Mhm.
was more about the clout. And
Mhm.
and now essentially he's doubling down on that clout by going, hey, I can afford to donate $1,000. Can you? And if
Mhm.
you can, do so and it leave me with your actual name and your phone number because I want to talk about what? What
I'm
is there to talk
sorry.
about?
No, I'm gonna give you even one better. There are many, 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 many people that could afford to donate $1,000 that you cannot look up on Google. Not everybody's on Google. I mean, so it's kind of like, okay, well, if you can donate the $1,000 and match me, then I need to be able to know who you are, or you're not someone until I can Google you. That's that's the way it sounds to me.
Hmm.
I I think he was digging a hole and he just dug a little deeper with the follow-up comment
Yeah.
because I don't think it was necessary.
Mhm.
Um, again, people are on edge. They're hurting, and everything generally is scrutinized on social media. Generally.
Mhm.
By, you could have 50,000 people who think, oh, okay, well, yeah, I mean, that was a nice gesture. And then another 100,000, they're like, what the fuck is he saying?
Right.
So it is what it is. Number one. Number two, with posts like that are so specific and widespread, he probably should have had his PR person do that.
He really should have. He really should have. It's a perfect example of here's a great case where, hey, this person really needs a social media strategist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if they want to take control of their own social accounts at times and they want to put something out there, I don't mean to say this, but it's the truth. You don't want whatever you're getting ready to put out there to blow up in your face. So it's not a case where you're trying to go get your parents' permission or whatever. It's just, this is why you have an agent. Hey, I want to say this. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We need to clean that up a little bit. I see what you're trying to say. Let's clean that up a little bit. How about this instead? Okay. Do it like that. And then if push
Mm-hmm.
comes to shove and you need a tiebreaker, then okay, who's your social media campaign strategist? Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
remember, to the point, I remember when I was briefly in charge of my college social media accounts a couple of years back. I couldn't just randomly get on there and post whatever the hell I wanted to post. I had to go through a process where, hey, I'm thinking about posting this.
Mhm.
Here's the subject. Here's why I'm thinking about posting it. Here's
Mhm.
how we would benefit from it, as far as not just our post being out there, but I'm also looking at things from a engagement standpoint. Will this get clicks? And making sure that it's a post that is in line
Mhm.
with their code of conduct and all that.
Right.
I couldn't just randomly, hey, I could, but then I would have heard about
Heard
it
about it.
later
Right.
on, and people would have, so why did you post this? What was your thought process? Even if I felt justified,
Mhm.
I would have got my ass handed to me because I
Mhm.
didn't go through respective proper
Right.
channels, to get that post out there and everything. So, my best advice to Ric Flair, because 2024, he's had too many instances where shit has blown up in his face. Remember when he took a swap at a strike at the little restaurant? What was it, down in Florida? Some little small mom and pop restaurant chain. He was intoxicated and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna bury you. You guys are done. I bring you all this business." Little did he know they had a fucking camera at the bar where they recorded him acting like an asshole to the management, to the
Oh
staff, and
wow.
and all that shit.
Mhm.
And then he tried to come back the next day after the owner of the establishment released the footage showing, hey, no, we were in our right. Like, this is what happened, and here's what led up to this epic Ric Flair rant and poor behavior at our establishment. And Ric Flair wants to go, I'm gonna sue you guys. You just wait and see. I'm gonna sue you guys. And then I guess whoever his agent or whatever was like, dude, shut the fuck up. You're
Right.
in the wrong.
Right.
He finally came back humbled, tail between his legs, trying to clean up his fucking act and shit,
Mhm.
right? So this is why he doesn't get the respect that he deserves. This is why so many people look at him as a fucking joke, and it's quite sad
Mhm.
because yes, you can think about all the great wrestling history matches, great memories. You can think about so much stuff, but in the same fucking conversation, stupid shit like this and other
Mhm.
stupid shit he's done over the years, it continues to be depressing and laughable when it
Right.
comes to this man.
Right. There's so many things with today's day and age in reference to media. That's why majority of these people have social media people
Mhm.
to do that because they know the ins and outs. We all know that we're thinking one way, but is it something we would actually post?
Yeah, very true. You got some people that do a really good job in handling their shit when it comes to
Mhm.
social media. They do a really good job checkmating themselves. And then you got other people, they desperately need a buffer. They desperately need a buffer in there. So I saw Joker 2 several days ago. I don't want to give a long, drawn out review, but I know longtime listeners, especially those that's checked out the web streams, they've seen my man cave. They definitely know I'm a Batman fan and everything. Look, uh, in regards to this movie, oh my God. In regards to this movie, again, I don't want to be long winded with this. If you have not seen Joker 2 yet, I'm going to say to you guys, if you're trying to be part of the online discussion and you've got some money to spend, okay, go see it. But if you want somebody to give it to you right between the eyes, I would say to you, don't go see it. Like if you're one of those type of people, you really want to, I'm giving it to you right between the eyes. I would highly recommend that you guys do not see the film because it's interesting. When it comes to the first Joker film, you get you get lost. Jesus Christ. You get lost in the oh, hang on. Let me shut this door because they are Messing up my train of thought here.
Sorry, but I don't know what's going on.
Messing up my train of thought here. Okay, so just leave. They're either going to stay out there or leave them out there, because we're live, pal. Here's the thing with the first movie that I really, really loved. I love that the first Joker film felt as though it was in its own respected universe. It was just this completely off the road map journey of a story, unique in its own way, carving out its own respected little niche. And you're giving this really great, fresh perspective on these are the elements that ultimately made this individual snap. That's the best way I can really sum up that first Joker movie, because it also borrowed big time off of stuff that happens in real life where, okay, there's these really great caseworkers that really mean to do well by the people that they represent, but because there's not enough financial resources, to help those in need, so many people can relate to that on so many levels. Whether you have a situation where mentally maybe you're not quite right, or somebody that mentally is not right, or uh you're getting help from the government as far as food stamps, and or you're trying to get help with low income housing, and there's certain programs that you're relying on, and just imagine if those programs can only do but so much, and without the necessary funding, like, so many people can relate to that first Joker movie big time, and to see basically, hey, here's a great end result of a system failing this individual, and not dare mind. And I want to make sure that I say this crystal clear, because I don't want anybody taking my words out of context. Arthur Fleck in the first Joker movie is not justified for what he does to five individuals in that film. He's not justified. But you understand, because of the breakdown in the system and how the system failed him, why he ultimately did what he did. So it was it was almost kind of, hey, America, you're ignoring this, but we're going to take this and throw it right in your face and really create some uncomfortable conversations that need to be have about this already. So I love the first Joker movie from that standpoint. Going into this second one, I felt like something was missing from this second one. I felt like the overall spirit of the Arthur Fleck character was missing from the first one. I felt like with this second one, it felt hollow. Something was lacking. There, like, substance, great substance was missing. You had a straightforward plot as far as I was concerned. Lady Gaga. Look, I thought her acting was good, but if you're going to ask me, was she really needed for the movie? No. I honestly don't feel she was needed for the movie. She really didn't help progress it. I personally feel she really wasn't needed. Nice to look at, but really wasn't needed. Let's talk about the musical scores, the musical numbers in the movie. It's funny because I remember saying to you at one point, I hate musicals. I can't stand musicals. But then when I really stopped and thought about it, I thought to myself, well, no, I take that back. It's the way in which the musical numbers are presented in the movie. And then I'm reminded, one of my all-time favorite movies, and whether people want to admit this or not, if they don't admit this, shame on them. But one of my favorite all-time movies from back in the day, Prince, Purple Rain. That was part musical. If you really stop and think about it, it's part musical and part story driven.
Mhm.
You look at the very first Blues Brothers, that is story driven musical numbers. So those movies for me Like, okay, those are like my all-time favorites.
Mhm.
So when I'm hearing this idea about, oh, there's musical numbers, I'm going, okay, well, it can't be that bad, right? Like, surely it can't be. Well, let's see. Excessive with the musical numbers, excessive, excessive, excessive. On the one hand, you go, okay, this is helping to progress the story, especially if you have closed captioning on, which I highly recommend. Like, for those that are the brave, the few, the only that will watch this movie, uh, I'm hoping you'll just wait till it comes out on Max and you can watch in the privacy of your own home. Then you can just close captioning. But if you're interested, you're willing to challenge yourself, you don't mind doing some extra reading, you happen to see it in the theater, see it in closed captioning. Because what you're reading, it really does further advance the story arc. It helps you get insight into the tone, the psychology of, that respected character and everything. Excessive, yes. Excessive was the musical numbers. Tams was telling me how some of her coworkers had saw the movie. Some of her coworkers' friends had saw the movie, and they left out at various points throughout this film. I understand the reasons why. Having seen it, I sat through the whole movie. I understand the reasons why. Um, the ending, I do look at the ending as a fuck you to the fans. To hear that in retrospect, director Todd Phillips did not have any conversations whatsoever with James Gunn and other heads. Like, wait, you're allowed to make this movie, and there's no. And then, as somebody that used to work in market research, I'm having a hard time believing this. I really, really am, and I'm like so tempted to hit the bullshit meter. But to hear that this movie did not even go to focus group panels, to hear that this movie did not even go to focus group panels, I'm going, something does not feel right here. What the fuck? Because I've organized a few focus groups for TV shows, upcoming video games, vehicles, you name it. And you want to gauge the public because you want to know what's working, what's not working, what do they feel needs to be tweaked and all that. So to hear that there was not a focus group done for this movie, really in 2024, I'm having a hard time buying that. But let's just say, for the sake of the argument, it's true. I don't really believe it, but let's just say it's true. That combined with how Todd Phillips was operating and basically free reign, it's a prime example of no, no, no. This is why you need to have higher ups. This is why you
Mhm.
need to have certain heads, certain people overseeing, making sure that overall it's going in the right direction. Okay. And so far, this movie, it hasn't even broke even yet. Almost $200 million of a budget. And I think opening weekend, they were lucky if they made 40 million fucking dollars. I think at this point, maybe they're up to about 100, somewhere between 100 to 120 million. I was reading some report. I don't know if it was by Variety, but they basically had said, look, in order for this film to essentially break even, they pretty much got to make like 400 million.
Mm, mm, mm. That's a lot of dough.
Right. Because we haven't even factored in marketing. Marketing alone is 100 million plus. So add that on top of the overall budget for the movie. Yeah.
Mm. No, I don't even think this movie's gonna break even, or at least in theaters. Now, maybe for your Amazon Primes, your physical copies, what have you. Maybe,
Mm.
but not in theaters.
I got to admit to you guys, I thought for sure the way this movie was going to end, and I'm trying my best not to put spoilers out there, but I thought for sure, unless you want me to comment on something specifically, go ahead. I'll address your comment question in regards to the movie. But I thought the way that this movie was going to end, I'll be honest with you guys, I thought it would end with him like 10 years into the future or whatever. He somehow breaks out of the Arkham Asylum, or maybe he's still at Arkham Asylum and he's just watching television with the inmates. He's just in this comatose, this vegetable state. And then there's this joint about, a new Max vigilante that's running loose. And he all of a sudden, like, you light up my life. He's got this flare in his eyes. And he's kind of like, I don't know, maybe we have him mumbling, my soulmate, or, whatever the fuck. And I thought it would end with him. And so this is how he ends up becoming obsessed with the Batman. Right. And so you pretty much leave the door open for, and the rest they say is history. Or, as I mentioned to you right on this very show several months ago, if I were to do a Joker movie, I would do a Joker movie where, from the Joker's perspective, we see how he interprets Batman, which is his soulmate and all this other stuff. And pretty much at the very end of the movie, like the last 5 minutes of the movie, he finally comes across Batman. Batman pretty much, you got it all wrong. Like he sets it straight for him as far as the reality goes, right? And Joker's kind of like, you're no better than me. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, we kind of get a tap into the infamous rivalry that has transcended all pop culture, comics, and all that shit. But by the end of this movie, I'm going, yeah, here's another prime example of a motherfucker that truly doesn't understand the source material, great fucking source material that's already out there, that's not tapping to it,
that you
right?
can pull from.
Right.
Yep.
I'm fucking sick and tired of people that, and this is a running gag. Oh, did you read the comics when you were a kid? No, I didn't read the comics. Did you even bother reading some of the source materials and preparation? No, I didn't even read any of the stuff when it came. Like, so you basically went into
That's
this
stupid.
you went into this code.
That's stupid.
You went into this code.
That literally would be like said person, which is actually getting ready to come out, the Luther Vandross documentary. That would literally be like, I'm going to make a documentary on Luther Vandross, listen to his music only, barely, and make a documentary.
Exactly. So I recommend to you guys, look.
I heard they were leaving in droves.
For Joker 2?
Yeah.
I bet they did. Look, I'm being real with you guys. If you're trying to be part of the online conversation and you got money to burn, see Joker 2. Okay, fine. But
and you don't mind wasting what, 2 hours?
2+ hours.
2+ hours. Yeah.
Now, if you already have HBO Max, go ahead, just wait for it to come out on that streaming platform. Check it out then. Okay. If you don't have Max, you don't plan on getting Max, and you hear a few months down the road, oh, this movie's available, I'm going to tell you, don't pick up a Max subscription just to see it.
Right.
You going to pick up the Max subscription to maybe see Penguin? Okay, that series kicks ass. I'll talk a lot more about that next week because I still need to catch up on a couple of more episodes. But yeah, this is definitely one of those. If you saw the first one, just keep that memory. Just run with that. Bypass the second one for all it's worth. You'll thank me later. Speaking of Joker movie and all that other stuff, so class this week was fun, man. I tell you what, I'm in the middle of preparing for a very important exam tomorrow. I have been trying to cram 5 chapters on all things plants for this next exam. I did good with the first exam. The first exam I got an 81 out of 100. So I said, yeah, So this one, the ante has been upped, and it's okay. Now you got to go through 5 chapters. It just feels a bit excessive. 5 chapters, because that's a lot.
Wow. You,
Two,
you you also are about at the halfway point.
2 chapters is very, very, manageable.
Mm.
3 chapters is even, still manageable. Outside of that, that's really pushing the memory bank, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm trying to do that. But I had a really fun television production class this week, right down to the point. I want you guys to be on the lookout throughout social media. I happened to sit down this week, professional cameras and all, using real equipment, real deal equipment. And I actually had recorded a show that not only did I help produce, but I also helped direct. I also had a hand in the visuals. I worked on, the graphics, just everything. I had a say in every single phase of the production for this show. And basically, it's funny because, and I want to give you guys this backstory so that when you guys get ready to watch it, you'll know what happened behind the scenes. So originally, it's me and a classmate of mine. So originally I was supposed to be the host, and he was supposed to be what I would ultimately become, the entertainment insider. So we all, as a group, there's like 4 of us. We're sitting down and we're trying to come up with the topics that, okay, what makes sense here? And we all are just throwing in something. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm very familiar with them. Yeah, oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's a good one. He's doing, yeah, it's good. Blah, blah, blah. Then when it comes time to, okay, who's going to be the host? He's like, huh? And he's trying to throw it back on our 2 classmates, young girls who are extremely, extremely, extremely shy. And they let it be known off the break, like, no, we would not excel in that position whatsoever. We suck in that position. Anything from a technical standpoint, we're pros at that. And like, oh, okay, well then let's utilize them for,
Their strengths.
for their strengths, right? But this guy just wanted to delegate. I get, and I'm not bad mouthing him. I'm just, he's an extremely shy person, quiet as a result, and as a result of that, he wants to delegate to somebody else. And so we're like, no, 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 like, come on, you can do this. Like, it's real easy, don't have nothing to worry about. Da, 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 da. So originally, he was the host. Or sorry, he was the insider. He was the entertainment insider. So we would throw the questions at him and he'd run with it. So when it came time to do a table reading, this guy was struggling big time. I mean, struggling. Again, I'm not making fun of him. I'm just telling you, I'm sure he would admit, yeah, I definitely was struggling. So he was struggling big time, and we all were very concerned for him. And he decided he wanted to back out. So just imagine you have that and you're getting ready to go into production in 3 days. Okay. You're getting ready to go in production in 3 days. Oh, that's not good. So we're like, look, 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 look. Keep the position, marinate on it. Take this weekend, think about it. You still feel that way. Okay. Well, obviously go in a different direction. So leading up to production, the decision is made. Okay. How about Lee becomes the entertainment insider to take more pressure off of you? So now you'll just serve as the host of the show. So I want you guys to keep that in mind when you get ready to see it, because you're going to see the full segment. The full segment ran about, I think the full segment runs about 9 minutes, give or take. Just a 9-minute joint. We go through like 3, 4 quick topics. Boom, boom, boom. We're in and out. But as you're watching it, I know a lot of you guys are going to go, damn, Lee's energy he's holding back here on purpose. But I know Lee, he's got it. Like, why isn't he we had to do it like that to make him feel as comfortable as possible so he can get through it. And I think we did how many reads did I say we did?
That you said two.
We did two
Oh,
rehearsals.
two
We
rehearsals,
did two rehearsals.
and then it was the
Yeah.
being said that I think you got another one
Yeah.
in y'all.
Yeah. So true story. We did two rehearsals, one actual recording of the show. And then our professor and everybody else was like, that was good, but can y'all do one more? And professor was like, let's do one more. And when we got done, it was everybody was like, that was it. That was, that was better than all the other ones. And it was like, okay, great. And each time I wish we had all of those because each time, as far as me basically learning acting when I was in junior high and all that, improv. Like,
Right.
it's not the same each time when you're delivering the
Nope.
lines or
It's not.
whatever, and you're always adding something new and all that.
Mhm.
So be on the lookout for that. And I borrowed off of a classic TV show as far as the name of the show. So shout out if you guys are going to be able to peep that out. But be on the lookout for that. So I see Peacock allegedly is believing that WWE will be moving all of its content to Netflix in the next couple of years. I believe that's, if not sometime in 2025, for sure, 2026. I mean, look, uh, I know WWE is going to entertain all deals that's going to be available, but you would like to believe that NBC Peacock is going to do everything in their power to keep uh the WWE arrangement that they have with folks. I know WWE is trying to do their very best to have everything be as simplified as possible. I like the idea of just going to one place for all of my WWE content. If you were to tell me that a deal would be reached where all the content that NBC Peacock has right now would remain with Peacock for a period of, 5 years before it could migrate over to Netflix, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. That'll work, sure. If you were to tell me that Netflix basically will be able to get all the premium live events effective as of while Peacock just holds on to everything during their contract with WWE. Like, so many things could happen. That's my whole point. That's why I'm bringing all of this up. Like, there's so many different
Mhm.
angles this could go down. I think it just all comes down to what makes sense financially, where everybody is making a profit. Everybody gets what they want.
Mhm.
But Peacock would be fools. Make no mistake about it. And I really do not hear anybody else talking about this. And I think it's a really big deal. Peacock would be fools to not try to do everything in their power to hold on to that WWE content while also trying to get some type of new specials in the process, because you need to create that incentive, I feel, for, hey, why should this consumer justify continue paying you XYZ for your subscription? And case I got to remind people, I know the running joke is, oh, there's like 1,000 different, Law and Order shows that's on there, right? Ha ha ha. But the Christopher Maloney joint, which really kicks ass, uh, organized crime,
Mhm.
that is now a Peacock exclusive. So they are trying to do their best to drive subscriptions to Peacock. And not to mention, Peacock's trying to rely a little bit more on live television, live sporting
Mhm.
events and all that. So you'd be a fool to not try to tap into uh, that WWE fan base and try to figure out ways to keep them around on
Mhm.
Peacock.
True. I think it's going to be a lot of trial and error, or not trial and error, but how successful is it? What are we gaining from it? What is Netflix gaining from it? What is Peacock gaining from it? While maintaining and abiding by their contractual obligations with both companies, Peacock and Netflix. So it's going to be interesting to see how they work through that.
Make a prediction. What do you see happening with Peacock? Do you think Peacock and WWE will continue on? Keep in mind, as far as future PLEs goes, as far as I know, that's supposed to be exclusive to Netflix
Right.
sometime in 2025. But just with the current, I guess the way we could tackle it, do we see WWE and Peacock inking out a new deal?
I think that really will depend on how Netflix goes. For me, that's my prediction. I think it'll depend on how.
Really? Because think about it, and I want everybody else to think about this now. The deal with Netflix, no matter what, like they're locked in for what, 5 years, guys?
Mm-hmm.
They're locked in.
Yeah, it is 5 years.
Yeah, they're locked in for 5 years, or it's either 5 years, 6 year option, the final year option, or it's 4 years with a additional year pickup option. But either way, they're going to be good for the next couple of years. It's Peacock that's like, what's the future of this right here? Where we've seen original specials, we've seen original PLEs. If I were to make a prediction, guys, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. I'm gonna make a prediction here, and I'm gonna say WWE is not able to ink out a deal with Peacock. Not, at least not to the extent of what you guys are thinking. And what I mean by that is, as far as everything that's currently active right now, just take out the PLEs. We already know, as far as the PLEs, like that's all Netflix. So take that out of the equation,
Mm-hmm.
right? I feel that what's ultimately going to happen is WWE is gonna, obviously they've got the deal going on with USA, and USA is the parent sister of NBC Universal, so that automatically ties to Peacock. With what they got with SmackDown and everything, so all that obviously ties to Peacock. I see them continuing to do the WWE Saturday Night Main Event. I see them continuing to do those specials. Um, A&E, what is the family umbrella for A&E? Is that not part of NBC Universal?
I'm not sure.
Look that up for me real quick, because I'm curious what they are under. Because the reason why I'm bringing them up, I'm thinking about those episodes of WWE biography, WWE Hidden Treasures. I'm thinking maybe it's possible those shows could be shifted over to Peacock as Peacock exclusives, and they are.
Hearst Communications, the Walt Disney Company, and NBC Universal.
So NBC Universal could ultimately, WWE could call in a favor and see if they could maybe get that switched over exclusively to Peacock. So I see some type of a deal happening for sure, where those shows I just highlighted, they become part of the Peacock streaming service. I see something being worked out, but at the same time, there's going to be a boatload of content that's gonna be getting the kick off of Peacock. So that's what I see going on. I know that doesn't really kind of help some of you guys as far as the final outlook of it, right? But I think it's safe to say I would be shocked if WWE and NBC Universal aren't able to work something out where some type of content is continuing to be streamlined through Peacock. That's just the bottom line. So that's the main thing we need to focus on right now, just that right then in itself. Now, AEW renewed their media rights deal. I have not talked about this at all. Um, read some of this information for me that you got on them renewing this media rights deal with Warner Brothers Discovery.
Okay, so AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery have renewed the media rights deal, allowing AEW to stream pay-per-views, AEW Dynamite and AEW Collision on Max. Dynamite and Collision will stream live exclusively on Max for US subscribers only in January 2025,
Mm.
while pay-per-view distributions will begin later in 2025.
Take a pause on that one. Okay, I'm noticing in there that they do not mention anything about Rampage, and by all accounts, definitely, I know Dave Meltzer, who's really good friends with Tony Khan and crew there. I'm not just saying that as a joke either, but I know it's been alluded to that Rampage will be no more come January. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because as somebody that's been covering Rampage, and this had shocked the hell out of Tammy when I was telling her about this several days ago. I've been covering Rampage since the very first episode where CM Punk made made
Debut.
his debut. And so it's one of those, because she said to me, "Wait, you've been covering it that long? Like, it's really been."
Right. The
She
shock wasn't since day one. The shock was, damn, it's been that long.
I was getting ready to say the years. Yeah, yeah. Basically, it's been 4 years since. Yeah, and not once have the guys at Full One Mania. Hey Lee, would you like a raise? You know, haven't been offered a raise. It's all good. It's all good. None but love. But no, for those that's curious, when January comes, I've thought long and hard about it. Um, Honestly, when January comes, if it's true about Rampage, as far as me writing something else for those guys, I'm gonna be done. Love those guys. I appreciate them. They've helped me big time perfecting my craft as a writer and all that. But now I'm just at a point where it's okay, you know what? I got it from here. Appreciate y'all, but I got it from here. Thanks. Not to mention I want to be able to break away and have more creative freedom in writing what I want to write about, when I want to write about it, release it on my time, my terms, and not have to worry about, well, we don't want any heat from this article. This is going to get us heat, and we're just not built for that. And also you just want to be a news regurgitator, as I like to call them. You just want to
Mhm.
copy and paste, nothing original. Okay, cool, right? That's not me shitting on them. That's just me, calling it right between the eyes how I see it and all that. So I appreciate them. It's been a great, little learning experience and all that. Now, the wrestling fan in me, when it comes to Rampage, that's a nice fast hour. Usually it is a two-match episode. So basically you're sticking around for
Damn.
for two really good matches, because typically you get 4 to 5 matches. And out of those 4 to 5 matches, two of them are really good.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So typically, it's,
Gotcha.
most times you get like an average episode, which, for a fast hour, like, okay, fine, not too shabby. But apparently Rampage is being replaced by some new show, AEW Shockwave. That's what's rumored to be shopped around or whatever.
Mm.
I like the fact that episodes of Dynamite and Collision will be streaming live for Max. I know Max has been trying to get more and more into live content. So there's that extra incentive if you are a Max subscriber. And then to hear this thing about the pay-per-view distribution. So I noticed two things right there. One, pay-per-view distribution is not going to begin promptly at the start of 2025. That basically is coming later. Lets me know they're still trying to work out the kinks with that. And I get that. What I also can't help but think about in regards to the pay-per-view distribution, I would imagine that if you already have some type of a max subscription, you're going to be saving some type of money off of the pay-per-views that you'll be able to access from them through Max. I mean, one can't help but, right?
That
Because
would be the assumption, since generally
yeah,
with most platforms that is the case.
right. The only question is, how are they going to break it down? Are they going to pull a WWE where, hey, since you are already subscribed to Peacock, you get to watch this pay-per-view as part of your subscription? Or is it going to be, hey, you're paying for Max, which is already 15, 16, 18, $20, and now you essentially are going to be getting an addition to that, hey, this pay-per-view is normally 50. Well, now you can order it for $20 since you have your Max subscription. That's a damn nice incentive. You're
True.
definitely putting yourself in a position where you can definitely increase more subscriptions
And revenue that way.
and revenue that way in regards to that. All right, so read to me a little bit more here. What else do we have here that's part of this whole press release thingamajigga?
So the deal will keep programs like Dynamite and Collision at their current homes, on Warner Brothers Discovery
Hey, Michelle.
networks,
Uh-huh.
TBS and TNT, respectively. Tonight,
Read that to me again. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
That's me. I blanked out. I blanked out.
So Warner Brothers, so basically, Collision will be in their current homes. So Warner Brothers Discovery networks like TBS or TNT, respectively.
So on top of streaming live on Max, they're going to continue to air.
Be in their respective networks.
Okay.
So tonight is the 5th anniversary,
Which was last week. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so last week was the 5th anniversary
Yeah.
of the launch of AEW Dynamite. So the new deal will also give AEW and WBD more opportunities to create additional programming for linear and digital platforms.
Pause on that note. Okay. So so they're mainly just focusing on Dynamite and Collision, which is honestly a really smart move. That is where, and to Michelle's point about compared to 5 years ago when the ratings were in the million range, to her point, yeah, the ratings are now. We're definitely going to talk about the ratings a little bit later in the show here, coming up in a bit, actually. Yeah, look, you got to trim the fat. Them getting rid of Rampage is a smart move. It's in a dead spot. It's the Friday night dead spot. Heaven forbid you have a new series that is on a Friday night in prime time. I hate to sound like that broken record, but most people are doing any and everything but being in front of the TV
on a Friday night.
Like, even if it's winter time, unless there's snow on the ground, people are finding something to do on that Friday night with their friends and family. Okay, so you really don't want to, look, unless it's NHL playoff, NBA playoff, or something like that.
Well, that's different.
That's obviously different, right? So the fact that they're trying to focus more on Collision and Dynamite, I say bless you. That's the way that it should have always been, honestly. Not to mention, I can't tell you how many times I've seen those ridiculous Battle of the Belt specials. I know me and Jeremy, we would talk about it all the time. One of the guys I work with for the wrestling website, me and Jeremy would talk about it all the time. God damn, they're doing another Battle of the Belt special. Like, they barely promoted it. They barely any marketing whatsoever. I remember there was one Battle of the Belt special where Jeremy was like, "Lee, I'm so sorry, man, to hit you up on such short notice, but I literally did not realize until this Rampage Apparently, they promoted just out of nowhere because they didn't do it on the other shows. They just promoted a battle of the belts. Are you available? I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, no, it's a short notice. Like, I'm not. So, this deal is good, especially if you're going to be getting away from those battle of the belts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like you can miss me with that because they would do a battle of the belts. No, she's trying to get comfortable. It's good because they would do these battle of the belts like it seems like once every if God, it felt like it was starting to become every other month, but I'll just be nice and say almost at the 3 month mark, they would hit us up with a battle of the belt special. So if those are going to be going as well, I'm totally down for that. Linear digital. So basically, I know they were doing something called TNT Overdrive, where they would have some of the AEW superstars. It was think a world shocking video,
Mm-hmm.
car crashes, all that
Right.
shit. The wrestlers would basically set up the clip, or
Mm.
think world's funniest.
Okay.
They would
Yeah.
set up. Oh, so I would imagine they're going to continue to do little stuff like that. And
Mhm.
obviously the digital platform. Okay, that's self-explanatory. Okay, read to me a little bit more there.
But for me, honestly, it seems like Lee's saying,
Yeah.
it's a smart move. But what you really need to focus on is improving your other staples,
Yes.
like
Yes.
Dynamite,
Yes.
like Collision.
Yes.
So getting away from Rampage brings to the forefront those powerhouses that you have on Rampage
Right.
that can be spread, out throughout, excuse me, your other two shows.
Read to me a little bit more. What you got
Yeah.
there?
So both AEW and uh,
You can say Warner Brothers.
okay, Warner Brothers Discovery declined to share the financial details behind this deal. However, the sources say it is a 3-year deal with an option for a fourth year.
Okay.
This deal is estimated to be valued at 170 million annually, or it's 170 million annually,
Mhm.
including the rights fees and other elements. Warner Brothers Discovery also keeps its a quality stake in
Equity.
sorry, equity stake in AEW, but the size of it is not disclosed.
All right. So let's marinate on that one. Let's marinate on that one. Okay. So I've heard so many conflicting numbers. I've seen Variety's report. I've seen Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, good guys over there. I'm seeing conflicting numbers here, but one thing definitely is certain. This is a 3-year deal with an option for a fourth year. They are definitely pulling in the millions annually for this deal that they got. So look, I mean, that's good to a certain degree, but the deal doesn't mean anything if you're not justifying if you're not justifying how can I put this? The deal does not mean anything on a number of factors. If you're continuing to bring in declining numbers and you're continuing to produce the same kind of content,
Mm-hmm.
this deal does not mean anything. Now,
Correct.
now, granted, some people will say, "Well, but Lee, AEW's got 3 years guaranteed. They've got 3 years." To that, I say, yeah, but think about the short turnaround that they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to be okay. That fourth year is
Mm-hmm.
that gonna, because look, after 2 years, they basically get to for 2 years,
Right.
but that third year they gotta be, if they haven't already put their foot to the pedal, they really gotta be going real hard to try to convince Warner Brothers Discovery
Mm-hmm.
why Warner Brothers Discovery needs to pick up that fourth year option.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look what we've been doing so far, and all this. Let me tell you something. This media rights deal that they were able to get, the one thing that stands out to me the most that has me go, you know what? This is good is the fact that Max is involved. Because
Mhm.
without Max, oh no, that's yours. I got my bottle. Without Max, you can pretty much look at this and say this deal is nothing.
Right.
So the fact that, and for people that have not done their research yet, and you want some fun trivia, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but go online, do your research on Max. Look up how many households are accessing that, right? How
Mhm.
many subscriptions there is to that and everything. The fact that you essentially are going to be able to tap into a new audience,
Correct.
add that alone on top of what you're doing for TNT and TBS, that should definitely put more eyeballs on your content. And
Means nothing if they don't put the marketing behind it
And
for
look,
for
and
Max.
look, from what we've seen, because we watch our fair share of Warner Brothers Discovery shows, unlike some people, and that's not taking any digs at anybody. It's just we're very familiar with the Warner Brothers Discovery catalog and everything. If there's one thing is that Warner Brothers does fantastically, they know how to do the cross promoting.
Mhm.
Okay. They know how to do the cross promoting very well. So that's not even going to be a concern. I personally feel. But the max deal, if there's one thing I'm looking at for this deal where I go, yes, you're going to see cash flow positive for certain. You're going to see some type of growth in your audience. I'm going the max deal,
Mhm.
because without that max deal, it's just pretty much business as usual.
Mhm.
Now, the sooner that they can figure out the pay-per-view distribution on Max, the better,
Right.
because that means that, and see, and that's something else that you have to think about. I know they got away from, what was it before? It was Fight TV, and then I think it became Thriller TV or whatever. I know they're done with Bleach Report. Like, there's only but so many cable satellite providers that they're still continuing to do business with. So
Mhm.
is this a case now where, is it safe to say all hands on deck is going to be about Max, to the point how is AEW going to be going about promoting Max? Uh like the combinations of promotion is endless, because we
Mhm.
could see them, hey, check out the new Colin Farrell HBO Max original Penguin, da, da, da. I can see like all types of cross promotional stuff,
As it should be.
as it should be, that's going on here. But the max deal, you take away, I keep coming back to that. You take away that max deal, because at the core, as far as success, future success,
Mhm.
that's where all your bread and butter is right now. Without that max deal, they're nothing. There's nothing
Well,
else interesting in the release, right? That's
so the other thing for me is that's carrying you to the next level because majority of your cable TV channels and stuff like that, that pretty much is going away.
yeah,
Everything is going to streaming.
yeah,
Everything.
yeah.
So it's carrying you from where you are to where you need to be.
Yeah. Look, you knew that, and look, I want to make sure that we tackle this in the most respectful way. If there legit were podcasters out there that was saying, AEW is dead, they're not gonna get a TV deal. Like, please, people, I don't even know why y'all were listening to those individuals that were saying that in the first place. I always felt AEW was going to get some type of a deal. It was just a matter of when. When was
And
the
who?
Right. When was the announcement? Well, I was always confident it was going to continue to be
Okay.
with Warner Brothers Discovery. My whole thing was when,
Mm,
when is it going to be done already? And I felt that with the way David Zaslav, head of Warner Brothers, Turner and all that networks and all that, just with the debacle that happened with the basketball, them losing the NBA,
right.
I just felt okay. Well, if you're Turner Broadcasting, if you're Warner Brothers Discovery, you're looking at AEW and you're going, well, look, you're not the girlfriend, the other girlfriend, the NBA that wants the mansion, that wants to eat at the five-star restaurants, that is expecting to get a pedicure afterwards, that is expecting every single day of the week to get a basket of Godiva chocolates and edible arrangements and $300 bouquet of flowers again
Dang, that sounds nice.
every fucking day. uh okay, that girlfriend NBA gets mighty fucking expensive after a while, and then you're
Mhm.
looking at the
The
other
one who wants to
girlfriend,
go to Chili's in a movie.
Chili's in the movie.
Looks pretty damn good by
Right,
now, right?
right, take her the Red Lobster and she'll spread them for them cheddar biscuits. Hey man, them cheddar biscuits is the bomb, I'm just saying, right? Cheddar biscuits is the bomb. Flavor Flav, I mean, the cheddar biscuits are the bomb. You're going, hey, she's cheaper and she's willing to work with me here. Like, NBA, like, I don't really need you. I got this other girl over here, right?
Yeah, but will she bring you what that other girl brought you?
That other girl was some high maintenance, man.
True, but she has some heavy hitters
What's
as
that?
well.
What's that Busta Rhymes song? Give me some more. Give me some more.
You had some more,
Give me some more.
that you had
No, but
some.
that's the girl. That's the NBA girlfriends. Like, give me some more. It's like, damn, ain't you
Well, that
satisfied? It's like, give me some more.
well, that's
Give me
true.
some more. You know, the AEW girlfriend is, oh, that was so sweet of you. You're so kind thinking about us like that. Thank you. Oh my God, you got me a baby Ruth. Look at you. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Damn.
I'm just I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So that's where we all are with now. Now, I know in regards to the recent Sports Business Journal report, a question was asked to Tony Khan in regards to, what's going on with the controlling ownership of AEW. And apparently during a AEW WrestleDream media call, remember, WrestleDream is going down this Saturday. Tony Khan was asked, shout out to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful. By the way, if Sean Ross Sapp can do me a huge solid, get the fuck away from all the controversial shit online, my dude. This dude, I don't know if I'm understanding this right. Some stuff was said online about some individual. Sean Ross Sapp felt justified for saying XYZ, and apparently this person was accused of something and it was inaccurate. There was no apologies whatsoever. And Sean Ross' whole argument is, well, he said it to me first. Like, dude, don't play that game. Don't play that game. It's like you have whether you want to admit it or not, whether you like it or not, you are a social media influencer. So as
Mhm.
a result of that, you got to make sure that you're treading lightly because certain people are watching you.
Mhm.
And you may not care, especially if you're at a point right now where, you can get an interview with this person, you can get an interview with that, you may not care. But if you care about your brand, because at the end of the day, your name is your brand. Your name is your brand. And you can't have your name be involved, your name that's your brand. You can't have that be involved in the controversy that I saw him dealing with earlier this week. Right down to the point, I had somebody, private message me. So what was all that drama about? And I'm like, look, man, I was like, I'm not doing that whole he says, she says. Like, you can look online. It's out there. If you know, you know. If you don't, it's easy to find out. Like, I'm too old to be, and he said, I'm not Wendy Williams. I damn sure ain't Montel Williams. Like, you got the wrong person for all of that. But my message to aspiring journalists, take it from somebody that actually is in college, learning about television production, learning about writing television and movies. Take it from somebody that is aspiring to work in the television news industry as a reporter and as a journalist, don't go this path that Sean Ross Sapp is taking, right? Just don't do that. Do it the right way, do it the most professional way. Even when somebody is trying to throw mud at you and all that online, always take the high road and everything, right? If he can just get away from these controversies, he definitely would be much better than Dave Meltzer. Seems like for the progress that he makes, shit like what happened earlier this week, it kicks him back to Dave Meltzer's level, right? I just want for the dude and everybody else there to, I know there's good people at Fightful that's trying to do it right, but and they want to stick up for their boy, but this shit right here just that. So anyway, media conference call. Sean Ross Sapp, that's why I brought him up. He had asked Tony Khan about the recent report about the broadcast partner Warner Brothers Discovery has an ownership stake in AEW, according to that report by the Sports Business Journal, which brought it to light, saying Warner Brothers Discovery maintained its ownership stake in AEW following the new media rights renewal deal. During the media call, Khan refused to acknowledge specifics about the validity of the report. Now, if you're keeping tabs at home, this question has been thrown around to Khan different times, various ways. Khan's answer has always been the same. But this go around, you kind of got a little bit more of a definitive answer. Kinda. It's a fair question. I will not get into our ownership structure beyond saying I have 100% of the voting stock in this company and have since the beginning and hold the vast majority of shares. I think that's fair to say. As the sole voting owner and the vast majority shareholder of the company, I think that speaks volumes, and I'm the controlling owner with 100% voting control of the business. So, safe to say that Warner Brothers Discovery, they do own some type of equity stock.
Mm-hmm.
They do own some type of equity stock, but as far as shareholder stakes and
Well, they
controlling
might.
ownership,
They might have some, but he has the controlling vote and the controlling shares.
right. They got a little something something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a little something something. I still believe they're doing the whole in regards to how the deal is currently set up. I still think to a degree it is still robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Well, I mean, when you spend out so much money and only get back but a certain amount,
Uh-huh.
you've got to start looking for other sources.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of interesting. So tell me about NXT and AEW this week. What was going on with the viewership?
Looks like it drew NXT drew 70. No, it's not 70,000, is it? No. Is it 70?
Boy, I put that son of a bitch in font 20.
No, I
and he-
see it, but it's like, is that I'm not used to. Is that 70,000?
no, man.
So
You got to get your eyes
no,
checked.
I see.
Okay,
Can you
okay.
tell
Let me
me?
shut up. Look, go ahead.
No,
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm asking you in reference to where you have the hyphen, what that is. Is that 70, 100,000? Because the way you have it here, I'm
Tell me.
confused.
I'm curious. I'm not being a dick. Tell me what you see.
70, comma 000.
Don't you see the 8? You need to get
Oh
your eyes
damn!
checked.
I thought that
Yeah.
was a dollar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry
You
guys.
need to get your eyes
Yes.
checked. When the
So
last time you got your eyes checked?
it's been a couple years.
And you getting on me.
Well,
Let me tell you something. Every time it comes to my health, this woman always goes, "Oh, you got to take care of your health. You got to be on top of your health. You can't do that. That's not right." Meanwhile, she's eating a cheeseburger, eating French fries, drinking a fucking yoo-hoo and all this other shit.
half of that stuff I barely eat.
And then she's struggling with shit like this. And then when I say to her, now it's my time to go, you really need to, yeah. She gets mad, huff and puffs, and
Well,
and then and then and then and then yeah, you're right. And then it's business as usual. Doesn't do a goddamn thing. Doesn't do a goddamn thing about it. I love you. You need to get your eyes checked. Look, I hooked it up for her today. I said before the show, I said, "Can you see this okay?" She's like,
and
"No."
I
She
can.
said, "No, no." She originally said no. And so
Oh yes, in the
and so
original
I
font,
blew it up.
no.
So I blew it up, font size 20. Right? Michelle's getting a kick out of this, her and her husband. They're getting a kick out of this, right? Font size
It
20.
doesn't just happen at your house.
Font size 20. And I made that shit black and bold. And I made that shit black and bold for you. And you go, is that a
So-
7 after the comma? Is that a
So I legit, guys, thought that this 8 was a dollar sign.
damn?
So I was very confused on
Oh,
how it was supposed to read.
oh God.
Yeah.
God damn.
So in other news,
Oh Lord.
NXT draws 870,000,
Okay.
and then AEW draws 329,000 this week.
God damn.
That's
That
a
is,
pretty big jump.
I can just hear people now. Well, Lee the baseball, Lee, the hurricane, Lee, somebody was debating. Lee, I wasn't watching. That's why the ratings went down. Lee, cause
No,
WWE
y'all
sucks. No, WWE sucks.
No.
Look, I want AEW, and I said this online when I saw the initial rating for AEW. I sincerely mean this. That's the one thing about me. I'm always consistent. I want for AEW to do well. I am not a WWE dick rider. I love wrestling from all promotions. If it's good, I'm there. If there's ways that I can offer critique as far as how something can improve, I'm gonna say it. Like, I don't care if it's a promotion, if it's a TV show, if it's a movie. We just got done talking about the Joker and how that could have been better, right? Like, when I hear 329,000, I go, damn. What happened, guys? Like,
Yeah.
seriously, what happened?
So is that across all shows?
What do you mean?
So basically, you said AEW drew
That's
three
basically for the entire
week.
duration. No, for the entire duration that show was on.
Okay.
That's the viewership.
And it was the same for Collision and Dynamite?
Don't be concerned with Collision and Dynamite. Be concerned with the fact, correction, don't be concerned with Rampage and Collision.
Mhm.
Be concerned with the fact that you had these two shows that went head to head on Tuesday,
That's where you're going with it. Okay. Gotcha.
and Dynamite drew
Gotcha.
329,000, because
And-
typically Dynamite is on a Wednesday, but they went on ahead and pushed it to Tuesday.
So when they went head to head, AEW lost.
Right.
Gotcha.
That's not good.
That is a telling tale.
That's not good. That's not good. So compared to last week when the show was on its normal day and time, AEW Dynamite was down over 51% in viewers, down 53% in the 18 to 49 demo, and down 71% in the 18 to 34 demo compared to last year, which was also moved to Tuesday against NXT. It was down 46% in viewers, down 63% in the 18 to 49, and 84% in the 18 to 34. Had 20,000 in men 18 to 34. That's down 67%. 2,000 in women 18 to 34, down 89%. 78,000 in men age 35 to 49, down 44%. And 28,000 in women, down 35 to 49%, down 49%.
And Lee, what about the 5-year-olds?
The 5-year-olds, I pray to God, you know. The 5-year-olds, I pray to God. Hey, watching neither one of the shows because I don't need to hear about them the next day. You know.
I mean, we have every other demographic on this page.
Hey, Joey, come here. Let me put you in the paradigm shift. I saw John Moxley do it the other day. It was good. No, I want to put you in the Brian Danielson Mule Cattle. Cattle. Get over here. This is bad. So what's the official word? Is did Dynamite move to this time because of the weather? When I was jotting down notes, that's the one thing that I did not cross reference, is if this was done because of what was happening with the weather. Because like, I mean, we could be here and we could speculate, but we could definitely deal with the facts, which is 329. 329, I would expect for Rampage. Hell, I would even to a degree expect that for Collision because it's on a Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
But to get 329 for your flagship show, your
Right.
original show
Right.
that came out 1st
Mm-hmm.
under the AEW umbrella,
Mm-hmm.
for it to get 329 to what was brought up earlier, like almost 5 years ago, these guys were pulling in, they were getting like $1 million plus.
Right.
CM Punk's debut alone on the debut episode of Rampage, that
Right.
was well over $1 million. And
Mm-hmm.
it's heartbreaking to see as a fan and as a fan of AEW and wanting the best for all the men and women, everybody behind the scenes. I want the best for them, but to continue to see numbers like this.
Mm-hmm.
Now look, guys. Now look, we know this is going to rebound. We know this is going to rebound when AEW moves back to its regular day and time for Dynamite. We know this is going to be a substantial rebound, at least so we hope. So we hope, because the pattern has been shown when Dynamite is on a different night, in this case Tuesdays, they get their ass handed to them pretty decisively. Pretty decisively. But they usually rebound the very next week when they're back in their own respected day and time. So we can only hope for the best. But to continue to see this downward trend, I got to be honest with you all. Even though some of you all may say, well, they've got their contract, so that's all that really matters. Yeah, they've got their contract, but let me tell you something. If they continue to bring in numbers like this, eventually the higher ups at Warner Brothers, they're going to be like, hey, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's going on? And then they're going to start going in. Look, we're recommending you do this. We recommend you do that.
Mm-hmm.
We're recommending you do this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for full context, y'all, let's break down this episode. Give to me the quarter one, the quarter segments and matches and all that. I didn't even watch this, so I'll comment from there.
Okay. So, John Moxley faced Brian Danielson. Promos Darby Allin and Brody King. That segment with Don Callis and Jake Roberts. That was also a segment. Looks like that was a 50,000 viewers and 157,000 in the 18 to 49 demo.
Okay, so that's basically your opener is what you're looking at for quarter one. All right, Moxley, Danielson, I would imagine pretty much hyping up their world title match, WrestleDream. Darby Allin, Brody King, yeah, they're supposed to be locking it up at WrestleDream. Okay, cool. The Don Callis, Jake Roberts segment. I love Jake Roberts. You can miss me with the Don Callis stuff. But 450,000, that's decent. I'll admit I would expect better for a Tuesday. That's a good opener. A 450,000, that's a good strong opener. Okay, keep going.
Okay, so quarter two sees Holgram versus
Hologram.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hologram versus
Hologram. I don't want your hologram. I don't need your hologram. All I got was a hologram.
versus
And before anybody says Jim Cornette, I said it first. Great minds just think alike. But his
versus
mind is far superior than mine. I bow down to the king.
versus
Hologram. See, now I'm fucking with you.
I know. I know. Versus Holgram. So no, hologram versus commander.
Yeah, like the
Okay.
Watch the Commanders.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
Yeah, it's the commander.
That came in at 292,000
Okay.
viewers, down 158,000
Uh-huh.
to, and it looks like 103,000 in the 18 to 49, which was down 54,000.
Okay, so let's see if we got this correct. So in your quarter one segment that had all that beautifulness going on, decent opener by the sound of it. I'm visually picturing how that went down. I think it went pretty good for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get to your flippity doo dah bullshit with hologram and commander. I like commander more than the whole hologram, whatever. Well, look at that. You lost 158,000 right there.
Mm-hmm.
Just for that match alone, you lost 158,000. So your 450,000 went down by 158,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then your demo. Look at that demo. You basically lost 54,000 off of that 157 for that 18 to 49 demo. It's almost like they said, well, the most important people that I care about,
that's done. So
let me go watch something else. Right. Let
Mhm.
me go watch something else. I'll come right back. All right, keep going. Quarter three.
So quarter three end of hologram and commander. Looks like Daniel Garcia promo, Swerve Strickland and EJ
Naduka.
Naduka. Looks like that segment with MVP. And then
Shelton Benjamin.
sorry, yep.
MVP and Shelton Benjamin.
Segment looks like that came in at 296,000.
Okay.
Viewers up 4,000.
Okay.
118,000, and the 18 to 49 demo, which was up by 15,000.
So what that says to me is people are more interested in anything else besides hologram. You go straight to my head. Here, I'll give you some Chris Jericho. I know you got a secret. It's buried down below. I know you got a secret. Let it go. Let it go. Hi, guys.
Lordy.
So that went up. Okay, that's cool. That went up. All right.
So
not by much, but you went up. Quarter four
is Mercedes Moné,
Sasha Banks. Yep.
Right. And Camilla.
No, Camille.
Oh, Camille. Oh, sorry.
Don't worry. I'm gonna help you out with these names.
Yeah. So it's Mercedes Moné and Camille.
Mm-hmm.
Promo Daniel Garcia. Backstage segment. Saraya. Okay. Saraya.
That's Paige.
Versus, yes.
Yeah.
Saraya versus Jamie Hayter versus Nyla Rose versus Willow Nightingale.
So you got three of my favorites. I love Nyla Rose. I love Willow Nightingale. I love Jamie Hayter. I love Saraya. I do. I love Saraya. If the reports are true that she's been able to ink out a new deal with AEW, that's good. I hope that they do better, proper utilization of her. But I got to be honest with you guys, as a longtime Saraya Knight fan, her run in AEW has not been anything memorable. It is no substance whatsoever. I hate to say this because it's the truth, but Saraya in AEW, I look at her nothing more than being eye candy. She is literally eye candy at this point. Anytime I'm looking at her, and I'm looking past her and I'm more interested in what the other female wrestlers are doing, that's not a good sign.
No,
That's not a good
no,
sign.
not at all.
Not a good sign.
So looks like 286,000 viewers for that segment.
Mhm.
That was down by 10,000.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
Which was 110,000 in the 18 to 49 age range, which was down by 8,000.
All
So
right.
apparently, a few other people were wondering what else was on.
That's not too bad of a retention, but it's got my favorites. I can't really hate on it, but I know it's not everybody's cup of tea as far as the female wrestling goes. All right, quarter 5.
Okay. Quarter 5 is the end of the Saraya versus
He's a terrible singer.
versus Hater versus Rose versus Nightingale. The Learning Tree and the Rocky Romero segment. Jay White, Squash, Hook, Kip Sabian.
Damn, they crammed so much shit in there, huh?
And Christian Cage segment.
Okay.
That went up to 334,000 viewers, up 48,000.
Okay.
It now is at 131,000, which was in the 18 to 49 demo.
Okay.
Is up by 31,000.
Okay, not bad. Not bad. Okay.
Moving right along with the Nightingale and Mariah Ray segment, Mercedes Moné versus Emmy
Sakura.
Oh, Emmy Sakura. Looks like that was down just by a little bit on the viewership, which went to 323,000, down by 11,000.
Okay.
And making that demo at 117,000 for the 18 to 49, which was down by 14,000.
Okay, so you've got people so far that basically have been sticking around quarter 4, 5, 6. You've pretty much got a little bit of the same retention. There's a slight decline, but you pretty much got the same. So pretty much you now know, like, this is us settling in for the night. Like, this is what we can expect to be the norm here. Okay, let's keep going.
So as the train continues, the Private Party and Stokely
Hathaway.
Stokely Hathaway. Promo Will Ospreay, Don Callis family segment. Looks like Top Fight and Action Andretti.
Yeah.
Segment that drew in 353,000 in the viewership, up by 30,000, which was 147,000 in the 18 to 49, which was up by 30,000.
Do me a favor, go back to quarter 1 and 2. It was 450,000, but what was quarter 2?
It dropped, remember, to
292.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that now? 450 and 292. Remember that. So now we're on the last segment, right? Okay.
Now the last segment is the Jack Perry promo with Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta.
Yep.
Versus Claudio Castagnoli.
Yeah, you did good.
Okay, and Pac.
Yep.
So that drew in 296,000.
So if you're keeping track at home, that's the reason why I wanted you guys to remember that 292 was segment 2 for Commander versus Hologram. That was a 292,000 segment. And here your final segment, which involves Jack Perry promo, Bryan Danielson, Wheeler Yuta versus Claudio Castagnoli. Oh, basically, so Jack Perry, Bryan Danielson promo, and then Wheeler Yuta versus Claudio Castagnoli. Or wait a minute. Bryan Danielson. Oh, no. I'm reading it right. Nah, I said it wrong. Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta versus Claudio Castagnoli and Pac
the match
is the main event. Wow. That's insane. So your AEW champion closes out the show
at 296,000 in viewership, which was down by 57,000. Peaking in that demographic is 146,000 for the 18 to 49 demo, which was down by 1,000.
Jesus.
Your opener drew in more.
That's yeah, for your first segment, yeah.
Yeah.
For your first segment, yeah. And to think this segment barely went past Commander and Hologram.
Hmm.
That's not good bragging rights.
No,
That's not good bragging
no.
rights. And Claudio is a beast. Danielson's a beast. Yuta's a beast. Okay, what's this about Overrun?
So your overrun is the end of Danielson and Yuta versus Pac.
Mhm.
And Castagnoli, which that drew in 328,000 in the viewership, up by 32,000, and the overall demo for the 18 to 49 was 146,000.
I gotta tell you, you telling me what was the card. I'm interested in the women's match. I'm interested in the Shelton Benjamin MVP thing. I'm definitely interested in the main event. Um, Top Flight, Andrade, Don Callis, Will Ospreay. I'm interested in all of that. Private Party. I'm interested in all of that. Sounds like it was by the sound of it, it sounds like it was a pretty good show. But I would actually have to watch it to, you know, okay, was this a shit episode or like what was going on here? Sounds like a pretty good go home show. But looks can be deceiving, right? It might sound good on paper, but when you actually watch it, obviously it it is. Look, when it's all said and done, I watched the NXT CW premiere, and look, I'm gonna give it to you right between the eyes. I see some people on NXT and I go, why are you on my TV?
Yeah.
Like you got no business getting a whiff of a camera just yet. Like you are
Still green.
you are still green. You are not ready yet. You just keep doing your thing at the performance center. Let's see you in a year or two. There are just some people I look at and I just go,
You're not ready.
Yeah. But for the most part, the in-ring stuff pretty good. I have a bone of contention with the premiere for NXT on CW because you opened it up with the women, and I just thought that was a kind of a bad way to open up the show because it's one of those, okay, so you're really banking on these two girls to really bring it on home here. And and look, they did rise to the occasion. I remember giving praise for their match and everything, but I just felt, yeah, this isn't how you want to open things up. Open up with, I mean, just imagine that you kick off with Triple H, Shawn Michaels in the ring, and then you go to these two small little girls that, if you're lucky, they look like little girls to me, but they're young women, but they look like little girls. They look like they're in high school.
No, I'm legit actually looking over at you because it's more like, why would you put something like that after something so powerful?
Okay, yeah. That was my whole thing. Thank you. I knew you'd understand it. That was my whole thing.
Yeah.
It was
That just seems like you've gotten the crowd riled up to basically put a fire hose on it.
I wish what they could have done, was put more emphasis, Shawn Michaels and Triple H, rather than get themselves over and this new era of NXT. I wish they would have gone over the entire card for the night and then really hype up the NXT women's match, the NXT Women's Championship match that fans were about to see. Give the fans in attendance, and most importantly, the viewers at home, a video package of, okay, here's what's been going on. Because WWE, we got to give them props. They are kings when it comes to the video packages for
Yes.
rivalry breakdowns and all that.
Uh-oh.
And if there was ever a time, what happened? She puked?
No, but it sounded like it.
Uh-oh. But if there was ever a time when you need to have a video package, here's how we got here. Here's the tell of the tape. You definitely needed it for this. And I wish the way that WWE would have handled that premiere of NXT on the CW. Hey, obviously you're tapping into a new audience here. So really set the tone, really introduce them to who's who and everything. There's definitely some hits and misses with that season premiere. And then put it to you this way, was it enough to make me go, I'll watch this on a regular basis? Only if it's on demand. You know what I'm saying? Like only if listeners, you the listeners go, Lee, would love it if you could talk about NXT this coming week. Can you shed a little bit more light? Yada yada yada. And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, yeah, sure. I'll hook you up. Yeah, sure. But I saw things from NXT that made me go, this needs work, this needs work, this needs work. But if I gotta compare the two shows right now, if I gotta compare the two shows, just production value
Mhm.
and story progression,
Mhm.
character evolution.
Mhm.
WWE, just with their NXT,
Mhm.
they've
Agreed.
they've got AEW beat.
Agreed.
I don't like saying that, but there are some really bright spots with AEW. There is. Like for one,
Mhm.
I love Willow Nightingale. I think she will definitely be the future of the women's division. I just need for Tony Khan to wake up and smell the coffee already. He didn't need to go out and spend the ridiculous amount of money that he spent on Mercedes Monet. He had somebody like a Willow Nightingale the entire time.
Mhm.
And my biggest fear right now is that Tony's not going to realize what he has on his hands there with Willow Nightingale until it's too late and she goes and signs elsewhere. That's my biggest fear. So I hope that doesn't come true. He's got Camille. He's starting to figure out how to use Camille properly, which is good. By the way, something very near and dear to my heart that Camille is involved in, and I'm gonna try to see if because we're actually social media buddies. I'm gonna try to see if she'd be interested. But a project that's been near and dear to my heart for many, many years. Originally, Jim Ross was trying to do something, but that never came to fruition. Camille is involved in a biopic on the life and career of Mildred Burke.
Isn't that the one he wrote about Jim Ross?
He was trying to get the rights because I remember him saying something about he had bought the rights and he was trying to have a movie or a documentary be produced on her life. That's what he was talking about when we saw him at Improv. So
Mhm.
yeah, I can't help but wonder if Jim Ross got involved in this or is this a completely different project altogether. We'll find out. We'll find out very soon. But that's going to be coming out in limited cities, I think on October 18th or the 19th. So I'm gonna try to, reach out, see if we can get her, because I would love to talk to her, and talk to her
Mhm.
about it. And I definitely want to put her in the hot seat and ask her about her run in AEW, and ask her if she feels like there was a period there where everybody maybe wasn't on the same page with the direction of her character, and if like we're because it kind of seems to me now, okay, now we're figuring it out because it seems
Mhm.
like it's getting better
Mhm.
by the week and everything. Speaking of big women, big cool kick-ass women is what I'm talking about. Shout out to Rhea Ripley. Looks like WWE and her have agreed to come to terms on some type of a new long-term deal. Apparently, it's just a matter of time before the contract is signed. There's a report floating out there. I think it was PW Insider that put it out there. So shout out to them. That said that this appears to be maybe for a 5-year deal. And apparently, she outplayed her last contract. Basically, she was underpaid. Now
Mhm.
she's really getting paid. So I'm wondering how that money is looking. I think it's safe to say she's not getting the Roman Reigns money. She ain't getting the Cody Rhodes money, but is it safe to say she's getting the Charlotte Flair money?
I think she might be getting almost the Charlotte Flair money.
Really?
I don't think that. I personally don't believe that they're. I think she might be close, but I don't necessarily know if she's getting the Charlotte Flair money.
You think she's more along the lines of maybe getting the Bailey money, or you think
Oh,
it's
I
might
think
be
she's
might be a little
surpassed the
lower than
Bailey
Bailey?
money.
You definitely think she's surpassed Bailey's money?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, when I think of like who, okay, wait a minute. So we know Charlotte's got to be like number one.
Right.
Number two's got to be Bianca Belair. Then
Yeah, I think
you
she's
would think.
closer to between the Charlotte Flair and the Bianca Belair money.
You think she's somewhere in the middle,
Yes.
in the middle of that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope so. Let's hope
Mm-hmm.
so. Let's hope so. I'm happy for her. Really, I'm happy for her. You know
Mm-hmm.
something I realized about Rhea Ripley that makes me go, "Well, you all right?" Before she got with Buddy Murphy,
Mm-hmm.
who's with the House of Black and all that in AEW. Her three other boyfriends. So two were white. One appears to be a brother.
Okay.
And that made me go, I knew I liked you. It's like I knew you had some flavor. I don't know. I just always, nothing, Lee, you're perverted, nothing of that nature. But I just always wondered because she always kind of struck me as someone that would, go out of her zone. And I always wondered, is she you know, you know, don't discriminate her,
Don't discriminate.
don't discriminate her, is she an equal, right,
Opportunity.
equal opportunity provider? And sure enough, she is. I was like, hey, I was like, all right, like I knew I liked you. I knew I liked you. But like I'm looking at all the guys that it was Sportskeeda. They like posted like, did you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like minding my own business. I was on Facebook late night, like literally the other night, and Facebook was like, bet you won't figure out who Rhea Ripley used to date. Like, well, I don't know shit right now, so enlighten me. I clicked on it. Man, I felt like I was getting a sex disease or something because I was on their site and I just got all these weird pop-ups just left and right. And I'm like, back out, back out, back out. And like it was really weird what was going on with the pop-ups that they had going on.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, I said, well, all right. But as I'm looking at some of the guys, I'm also saying to myself, okay, of these guys I'm looking at, who could I see myself at the bar having a conversation with?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny now, keeping that in mind, because this is probably gonna be like, wait, what? The brother was not one of them.
Mm.
Even though I thought it was cool that she dated outside of her,
Her
like
race.
right, her of her race. Even though I thought that was cool,
Mm.
I'm looking at the pictures of the guys that she dated, and I'm like, yeah, no, no, no. Buddy Matthews is the one who's her current man and about to be her husband. He's the guy that I see where I go, yeah, I'm at the bar. Yeah, I'm talking with him.
Hmm.
Weird, right?
It is kind of weird. Yeah. I wonder what about their persona that you saw that was kind of like, yeah, no.
I can't explain it. I'm usually a really good judge of character, but when I was looking at the photos, like one guy just seemed like he would not even give you the time or day to converse. He just seems like he would do one of those uncomfortable, yeah, and then like somehow figure out a way to,
Excuse himself.
excuse himself, but really the message is heard loud and clear. He doesn't want to talk to you.
Mm.
And then the other guy, seemed like he wouldn't even be at the bar.
What, like a preppy person?
It seemed a little preppy, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to say snobbish, but he definitely gave me a preppy vibe.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like, the brother, now see, with the brother, you would think I would be like, hey, whatever. But there was something that just spidey sense tingling.
Hmm.
not danger, but
Right.
just caution,
Right.
caution.
Hmm.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Buddy to me, he's always come off like, very diverse. Like you want to talk,
I'll talk.
he's a big dude now. So it's like you want to talk, health and nutrition, you want to talk music, you want to talk scary flicks, you want to, because I know him and Rhea, they do stuff on social media, like Twitch streams sometimes and all that. And, he comes off extremely likable, extremely likable.
Hmm.
But yeah, very interesting. When I saw those images, I was like, huh. So I gravitated more towards Buddy. I thought that was interesting. Um,
Okay.
Speaking of wrestlers, shout out to Luchasaurus. I meant to talk about this last week, but I don't know what happened. There's no excuse, but really, shout out to him. He is still suffering from the effects of what was going on with his pneumonia and both of his lungs from his recent hospitalization. And apparently, he had pneumonia in both of his lungs, and his blood oxygen level was
So
below 80%. Is that right?
right. So it's called a O2 saturation,
Yeah.
which basically gives you a percentage of the oxygen in the blood.
Yeah.
It really isn't supposed to be really below 90.
Yeah.
Generally, if you were to one were to check their that particular thing,
Uh
um,
huh.
you would most likely get somewhere between 98 to 100 in a normal healthy person.
Mm-hmm.
But I have seen someone go as low as 60
Mm-hmm.
percent,
Mm-hmm.
but 80 is not good. 80 is not good. So it looks like it's said to be days away from permanent lung damage. As I hear it, he was on a ventilator in the hospital, um, and now struggles to do just the most basic daily activity. So shout out and prayers to him.
Let me tell you something. As somebody that suffered from pneumonia in the lung, not both of my lungs, but in the lung. Longtime listeners will remember this. I was struggling with it. What was it? August. I was telling you
Mm.
guys, and I wasn't sure what was going on because all I knew was I was coughing up blood, and the amount of blood I was coughing up, it freaked out Tammy that it was pretty much enough
Well,
to.
he actually had added water to it. So, well, he added. So basically,
I'm not
the
talking about when you actually saw it. I just mean just just
oh,
just
oh.
hearing that I was coughing up blood.
Yeah, agreed.
It was enough for her to say, "Look, you need to get checked out."
Agreed.
Because I ignored her saying it the first time, and then the
Yes.
second occurrence that happened, which was like in the span of less than a month, her whole thing was, "Yeah, you need to go to non-emergency. You need to get checked out." So I had got the CAT scan done and everything, and there was a spotty area. They really weren't sure what was going on. They wanted for a lung specialist to check it out. I talked with the lung specialist, and he's like, "Yeah, there is some type of a nod, some type of
Nodule.
a nodule that you have in your lung." And he was asking me about my family history, was asking me about smoking, drinking. I mean, any and every question that you can think of, he was asking it.
Mhm.
And he said, "Well, first thing we're going to do, I'm going to give you these antibiotics. We'll see if that clears it up. Then, once you're done taking this medicine, you're going to go in for another scan. And then I'll talk to you about your scan from there." And I was paranoid like a mother because I'm going, Is this cancer? Like, what the fuck is going on?" And it was hard for me to stay positive, but all I could do for those next batch of weeks was just keep taking the medicine and
Mhm.
focus on other stuff. And thank God I had classes at that point, because this came at a time when I got the news and everything. It basically came at a time when I hadn't even started up my fall semester classes yet.
Mm-hmm.
So just imagine going through that, and it's like you kind of really don't have anything to, take your mind off of it and everything. But once everything was said and done, took the medicine, did a new CAT scan. My doctor was like, "Yeah, just as I suspected." He was like, "Yeah, you had pneumonia." I was like, "Really?" He was like, "Yeah." He's like, "From what I'm able to see, it cleared up. You should be good to go." And he told me straight up, he was like, "If that ever happens again with, you ever feel some type of a symptom like that, you're going through any of that again, it's like get to non-emergency as soon as possible."
Mm-hmm.
For Luchasaurus, I say all of this not just to add context, not just to be able to connect you all to the story about Luchasaurus, but to also highlight a main important fact that you got to make sure that you're listening to your body. I say this to you guys time and time and time and time again. You got to make sure that you're listening to your body and you're not ignoring those signs, right? Don't be like, I'm good. I just got to power through it. This ain't nothing. I just got to take some Mucinex or take some. And I did all of those things. Well, when I started spitting up the blood, that's when it was like, okay, let's like not ignore this anymore. It sounds to me like Luchasaurus maybe had been battling this
Mm-hmm.
for maybe months on end,
Mm-hmm.
potentially. And I hate to speculate, but I know some of you guys are like, hey, what do you're not a doctor, obviously, but what do you think could have possibly happened here? You
Well,
know,
as somebody who's worked in the medical profession,
yeah,
and
yeah. Wait on this.
so sometimes it literally is just fatigue. You don't really have a whole lot of symptoms. Maybe an occasional cough, maybe a dry cough,
Yeah.
and things that could be lessened as far as, oh, it's just, you
Mhm.
know, and then it's like, but no, it's not. So by the time you really get to the point where you're like, okay, I think I should probably go to the doctor. It's to that, it's to that worst point. Um, my own mom, um, with a few things, COVID was one, but also she had pneumonia. And for her, she knew something was wrong, but she didn't necessarily know it was pneumonia.
Mm.
And and that's actually not the first time she's had pneumonia. It's actually probably the second time. The first time she actually had walking pneumonia, which is actually can be deadly. Because again, you don't know you have it until you either get a chest x-ray or just having some severe symptoms and you're like, well, really should check this out.
Mhm.
And I'm sure as a wrestler, generally most of the talent pushes through
Mhm.
past their pain,
Mhm.
past their illnesses, past, you don't necessarily listen to your body because you got to go on to the next show. So, but probably by the time it was like, okay, I really should get to the doctor, then at that point it was okay, you know, or he just was at the hospital and stopped breathing. I don't know exactly what happened. That's just speculation, but it's very, very serious, and it really takes a lot out of you, even with the smaller cases. So the major cases, it's a lot, and there's going to be a lot of rehab and strength building, just to build his lungs back.
For those of you that's kind of hearing all this and you're getting a little bit freaked out and you're trying to figure out, man, is there like one definitive, okay, this is caution right here? Anything that we could shed light for you guys
Oh,
that
I
would
can tell
go
you.
from so from my personal
Mm-hmm.
experience, I was doing more sleeping
Mm-hmm.
than I normally would.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not like me. Usually if I get about at least 8 hours of sleep, I'm good. Like whether I take my sleep aid, my melatonin, whether I take it or not, if
Hmm.
I get at least 8 hours of sleep, 7 hours, I'm good. Sometimes it's even 6 hours, I'm okay. But I like
Hmm.
getting my 8 hours. But I was sleeping like, my God, if I didn't have to deal with work, no class, um, pretty much, all right, I'm letting the girls out to use the bathroom. I'm feeding them, and maybe I'll give them a walk. But other than that, I'm going back to sleep. I probably was sleeping. My God, I'm not bullshitting. At least 20 hours. At least 20 hours. I was sleeping.
A day.
Yeah, when
I
I when I had when I had the
when it
when I
was
had pneumonia,
when it was active,
when it was
yes.
active, yeah, that was the most
But
sleeping that I was doing. The other thing that I was noticing too was all of a sudden, randomly, I could be talking to you just like I'm doing right now, clear as day, and then all of a sudden, I would have this irritating cough that would just come
hmm
from out of nowhere,
hmm
and it would be a nonstop, uncontrollable cough
hmm
that would last for, at the most 5 minutes. Um, Now I kept ignoring. I just thought maybe something, went down the pipe wrong, when whatever, you know. Those are some signs.
hmm
Obviously, if you get the certain urge to spit and you're noticing there's when I say a little bit of blood, if you're noticing about half a teaspoon size of blood in your saliva, like all any one of those signs, or just combine all of them, that should be enough caution to have you go, okay, let me go get checked out.
Agreed.
What were you gonna add?
Basically, what you added is what I noticed as well. Generally, not just general fatigue, but like severe fatigue, to where it's like, gosh, I've gotten 8 hours of sleep and I could go back to bed for another five.
Yeah.
You know, eh, that's telling you that something is wrong, whether you have some, lab work that's out of whack, or something that's just not right. But either way, basically,
Mm,
point blank, listen to your body. If your body is telling you one thing
mm,
and it keeps telling you that,
mm.
it's time to get checked out.
And to Michelle's point in the chat, drainage gagging you, and you give
Yes.
deep coughs, heaviness in the chest when you cough,
Mm-hmm.
also a big sign. Yes, that is definitely something else that I had as well. So you definitely want to pay attention. Yeah, your lungs and if your heart is kind of feeling a little strained and it's feeling a little bit irregular, and what I mean by that is it's beating harder than it normally does. You can tell, like you just know, like those are all definitely the telltale signs. So definitely, Luchasaurus, speedy recovery to you, young man. Hope you get better. Take your time there. Let's see. So we got WrestleDream coming up this Saturday night. Looks like this card's going to be starting, I believe, at 8 p.m. So probably a midnight pay-per-view, give or take. But the card actually looks pretty simple. Pretty simple. Will I be watching this pay-per-view? If I happen to be around and I feel like watching it, yeah, sure, sure. Will I do a post show? Um, I'm looking at the card and I gotta tell you, card looks pretty good. There's a couple of matches in there I'm curious about. So I'm not giving you guys predictions for this one, but the way the card is looking, Swerve Strickland returns. We got Darby Allin versus Brody King. That should be a beautiful train wreck, because Darby Allin knows how to sell and bump like a motherfucker for big guys. His past couple of matches with Brody King's been pretty solid, so that should be good. Hangman Page is taking on Jay White. That should be good. AEW World Tag Team Championship, Young Bucks taking on Private Party. I'm rooting for Private Party, but I think other things is going to happen. We'll see. ROH World Championship match: Mark Briscoe versus Chris Jericho. Hi guys. That should be good. You know what? When I say that match should be good, what I really mean by that one, I cannot personally wait to see how much work Mark Briscoe is going to do to make Chris Jericho look good. Because as of late, Chris Jericho has just he recently did an interview. I'm staying in AEW forever, man. I'm gonna end my career in AEW. And it's like, yeah, sure, sure. But when WWE comes a call, and
With the Legends deal.
yeah, that Legends deal and that Hall of Fame ring, you're gonna be right there. So you ain't fooling nobody. AEW International Championship match: Will Ospreay versus Ricochet versus Takesha. Oh, now that should be fire. That should be fire. I love the work of Takesha. I'm hoping it's his time. We'll see. We'll see. AEW World Championship match. Who is that? Mariah May versus Willow Nightingale. Mariah May. That's right. That's right. She took the title off of Tony Storm, and now, oh man, my girl Willow. Oh, I'd like to see Willow, but it ain't happening. It ain't happening. Justice for Willow Nightingale already. AEW World Championship match: Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. So a pretty straightforward card. I saw there was only one match for the 0 hour pre-show, and it looks like that was going to be Brian Cage in action. Do me a favor, type in AEW. Let me backspace for you. There you go. Type in AEW WrestleDream 2024, and I just want to make sure that they didn't add anything else new. Matter of fact, there you go. It's right. It's right there for you. I want to know if they added anything else to 0 hour. This card seems pretty cookie. No. Go to the top one. Yeah, the Wikipedia. Yeah. This card seems pretty cut and dry. I can't help but wonder if there's going to be any type of a surprise that's going to occur. Just keep scrolling down. Keep scrolling down. Just keep scrolling down. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Holy shit, there's more matches. I knew it was too easy. I knew it was too easy. God damn. Yeah, so we got Brian Cage versus Atlantis Jr. Singles match for the ROH Television Championship. Again, that's a pre-show match. That's your only pre-show match? They've got to be putting more towards the pre-show. We already talked about Young Bucks, Private Party. Okay. Mariah May. All right. Yeah, here we go. MXM collection. They'll be taking on the Acclaimed regular tag match. Hologram faces the Beast Mortos in a 2 out of 3 falls match. How the fuck did we get to that point? Okay. And I missed one. Not Mark Briscoe versus Jericho, not Darby versus Brody. Jack Perry. That's the other one I missed. Jack Perry defends the TNT Championship against Shibata. I love Shibata. I wish it was Shibata, but I don't see that title changing hands. So we've got 11 matches. Yeah, this pay-per-view is probably not going off until about 12, maybe 12:30. So as far as a post show goes, we'll see. We'll see, guys. I don't know. Maybe I'll poll you guys and we'll figure out how to go from there, because we'll either do a post show or maybe we could kick it towards early Sunday afternoon. Yeah, Michelle, that's what I was alluding to when I was talking about this pay-per-view. Kind of seems like maybe it's missing something here. It's interesting because when I thought it was just going to be like 6-7 matches, now we're getting 11 matches, but I still feel create some shock and awe for your next wave of television. Michelle brings up a good question, which is, am I buying the hype that Shane McMahon will appear in AEW to help out maybe? Yeah, I mean, look, you don't do 2 pictures with AEW personalities per se. You don't do one picture one week with Tony Khan, and then several weeks later, you do another picture with the Young Bucks. You know,
Right.
you're definitely teasing something and you're getting the community talking. Now it's just a
Mhm.
matter of, okay, so when is this like gonna go down? Yeah,
Mhm.
I think it's inevitable that Shane does appear in AEW. The only question I have at this point is, will he appear at this pay-per-view, or will he be appearing before the end of the year? And if you're keeping tabs at home, right now we got Full Gear, which is going to be coming up on November the 23rd, and then we have the December 28th event titled World's End. My prediction, I think in the main event match for the AEW World Championship, Bryan Danielson barely escapes defending the title, but I can see another gruesome beatdown type of scenario that happens at the hands of Moxley or whatever. I like the angle that's being spun right now, where basically there is a higher calling, a higher authority, if you will, that leads you to believe that John Moxley is taking his orders from somebody. And given the history with Shane McMahon and Bryan Danielson from WWE, like it writes itself so beautifully. And the history that Shane McMahon has with Marina Shafir from back when he was doing Raw Underground, he was trying to incorporate street
Mhm.
boxing, MMA, UFC
Right.
Underground, and all that, right?
Mhm.
And we kind of got our first taste of Marina Shafir, technically part of the main roster through Raw Underground and everything. So you've got some interesting seeds that's already planted right there and everything. So my prediction is you're going to continue to get a tease, but I don't think Shane is going to be appearing. Honestly, if AEW is smart from a marketing standpoint and all that, you really want to, oh my God, reveal Shane at World's End.
Mhm.
It lives up to the name of the pay per
Mhm.
view alone. It's the last AEW pay per view of 2024.
Mhm.
And what better way to end 2024 than by having Shane McMahon arrive and you going, holy shit, the world has come to an end. Oh, McMahon is in the AEW.
Right.
What the fuck?
Mhm. Setting up your new deal in 2025.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. Agreed.
What's gonna happen next? What does this mean for the future of AEW and all that other shit?
Mhm.
Especially if you were to ultimately do it in a way where Shane McMahon and storyline kind of borrow from what Dixie Carter and Hulk Hogan had did for Control of TNA,
Mhm.
where the Hulkster storyline, he did like some dirty, shady shit, and he ended up owning TNA, kicking Dixie
Right.
Carter out.
Right.
And then basically it was the new blood versus the TNA originals.
Mhm.
Like, if you can basically follow that same blueprint, do the necessary tweaks that you need to do to make it
Right.
better, Shane will
Mhm.
fill that role so perfectly. It's obvious too. I know you haven't got caught up yet, but it's pretty obvious that by the time you get done watching the Vince McMahon docu-series, particularly episode 5, Family Business, where you come out of there not just having a lot of respect for Shane McMahon,
Mhm.
but you're rooting the fuck for him.
Mhm.
After you watch that, like, you honestly, and any person will come out of that going, man, I'm really rooting for Shane. Like, I want this guy to, because here was Shane. He thought he was going to be the successor. He thought he was being groomed to be the successor.
Oof.
And his dad's like, no, do me like my dad and, get the money together, buy me out if I let you. Or if you feel that passionate about, you and taking over the company and your ideas, here, giving you a spoiler, but he's like, take this knife right here. He's like eating a sandwich, or he's like, take this knife, stab it in my heart. If you don't do it, that's gonna tell me all I need to know about you as far as being a man, and it's gonna factor hugely into my decision. He's like, but if you're man enough, take that knife, stab me in the heart. Or get the money together and buy me out. Like my father did with me.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Well,
I'm
it'll be interesting
yeah.
to see, the newer and most recent factions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gonna be very interesting. Gonna be very interesting. All right. So we're at the 2 hour, 34-minute mark. Shout out to everybody that supports the show. Shout out to our sponsors too. In post-production, I've got to do some voice ads. Oh my god, I can't believe it's already 9:15, y'all. I gotta actually get ready to I think I got enough time to do a voiceover for one of our new sponsors, and then I've got to, for those of you that's interested, I'll be on the 401 Mania site. I will be providing live coverage for AEW Rampage. We have got a great community that's over there. So if you guys are interested, just pop on at 10 p.m. Eastern. So in about 45 minutes, I'll be providing live coverage. I usually pop my head in the comment section too, interacting with everybody. So if y'all just happen to come from here, let me know so I can give you a special shout out and everything, and all that. And yeah, WrestleDream, that is in the air. I will probably put up a poll on YouTube asking you guys, would you like me to do a post show? And the option is going to be clear cut. We're either going to do it as soon as it goes off the air, or we'll do it first thing Sunday afternoon. So look out for that poll. It'll be on youtube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the post section, vote that way. She's the beautiful and lovely Tammy Lee Sanders. We're wishing all of you all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Once again, special shout out to those that has been affected by the recent hurricanes. We're definitely thinking about you all. Anything we can do to help. If you have a Kickstarter or GoFundMe, you want us to spread the word about that through our outlets, let us know. More than happy to help. But everybody, do what you can to stay safe out there and help out your fellow man and fellow woman. We'll see you next go round. Take care.